Hello.
Hello. Nice day today.
Ah. So what do you think about our crumbling schools?
Oh, well, I guess, first, I think that there is a lot right with schools today. In most cases, they are as good or better than they ever have been overall.
What? Come on. All I hear is how bad they are. And what do you know about it?
Actually, I study schools in my job.
Okay, so schools are just fine?
Well, I did not say they were perfect. But overall they are typically as good or better than in the past. In fact, most people when surveyed rated their local schools as doing a very good job. But those same people when asked about how they would rate schools in general said that they thought schools overall were in a crisis.
Well, I think most schools are in a crisis.
So how would you rate the local school around the corner from where you live?
It is great. Oh.
Get the point? So the truth is that some schools are doing poorly, some are doing really well, and most are doing just okay.
So can I ask, what makes a good school?
That is kind of complicated, but it is explainable.
How long is this going to take?
Well, you look like you are in a hurry, so I will give you the short version.
You have got 60 seconds. Shoot.
Okay. Every student, every classroom, and every school has a psychology. Some lead to more success and others to less success. Some of that psychology is developed at home, but our research tells us that half or more is created at school. What we could call a psychology of success is defined by three things. First, do students have an internal or external locus of control? That is, do they see cause and effect and recognize that it comes from their choices? Second, do students feel a sense of self-acceptance and belonging within the group? Third, do students think in terms of growth? That is, do they think, if I try I will get better, or do they think in terms of trying to look smart and avoid failure? Does that make sense?
Kind of. So, does this stuff have anything to do with test scores?
Surprisingly, yes it does. What we find is that it has a great deal to do with test scores. Students who have high levels of success psychology get higher test scores, and schools that do a good job promoting success psychology outperform schools where they don't. In addition, psychology of success is related to lots of other things that we care about, like the level of violence, obesity, dropout, and smoking and drug use, to name a few.
Okay, so I get it. If students think in certain ways, then they do better. But don't teachers have too much to do to play psychologist to a bunch of brats whose parents did not raise them right?
Good point. Yes, it sure helps when parents do a good job. But what we study is what teachers do. What we find is that every teaching act is either promoting a success or a failure psychology. Teachers at low-performing schools do things, that is, they more often teach in ways that promotes a failure psychology. In high-performing schools, teachers are not necessarily doing more or extra work, they are just more often teaching in ways that promotes success psychology. That is what our statistics tell us.
Oh, statistics. You know what they say. There are lies, damn lies, and then there are statistics.
Okay, that is fair. Then I will make you a bet. I will bet you that if you blindfolded me, drop me in a random school, and let me see what classroom management strategies the teachers were using in a few classrooms, I would be able to tell you the achievement level of the school within a few percentage points.
Let me think about it. No deal. But I still don't get how that would work.
What we find is that it is all related. Everything that happens in every school is connected, including the way the school looks, the ways that the teachers interact, the ways that the students treat each other, the methods that the teachers use to teach and manage the class, the way that the principal leads, and even the way that one is greeted at the front office.
All those things are connected to the success philosophy of the school.
Success psychology. And yes, exactly. Everything is connected, even the little things. In great schools they know how to be intentional about creating a climate for growth, but most schools leave it to chance, or what we like to call being accidental.
I know some teachers, and they say that it can be rough. Doesn't a teacher just have to do what works?
Yes and no. We all have to survive. But the bottom line is that some practices will guarantee that the students will never, I repeat never, achieve highly. We can justify them in any way we that want, but if we use these dysfunctional practices, our students will get low scores in the short term and become worse students in the long term.
Come on.
We have yet to see an exception to the rule.
Okay, so what are these bad practices?
Some are things that we do because we are not yet aware of the harm that they do. For example, using shaming, public comparison, allowing students to talk to each other in a harmful manner, lecturing as a primary teaching strategy, relying on mostly tests to get assessment information, focusing on the product, giving praise for students' ability or intelligence, to name just a few. And then there are a whole host of things that teachers are actually told to do, such as putting students' names on the board, using reward systems, trying to let students know how inadequate they are in the hopes that it will motivate them, or encouraging students to please them in exchange for praise, as well as teaching with exclusively direct instruction, to name a few. There are several teacher training books that suggest a lot of unhealthy ideas. So, unfortunately, some of these failure psychology producing practices are things teachers are taught to do.
But that stuff works. They worked for my teachers when I was in school.
I'm guessing that they work to make your school mediocre, for the most part. Can I ask how most of the students in your school did? Were they excited to be there? Were they excited about learning? Did they enjoy school other than for the reason that it was a place to socialize?
Well, the teachers had to treat us that way. We needed it.
I have to disagree with you, my friend. Those kinds of practices did not accomplish much more than to keep those of us in these kinds of schools from learning as much as we could and from developing the kinds of skills and dispositions that we needed to be successful. If we did develop the psychology of success, it was not as a result of what happened in the classroom, but outside for the most part.
So what is the answer? Is it charter schools?
Sometimes. But the fact is that a charter school can be poor, fair, or great, just like a public school. It all depends on what they do. Just opening a charter is no insurance of success. But charter schools or any small independent schools in general have some advantages. First, they are typically smaller. Smaller makes it more likely for a school to have a vision, that is, to be intentional. Second, the quality of a school is dependent on the quality and commitment of its teachers. So anytime a school can attract more talented, committed teachers and less teachers who are not interested in being part of a collaborative, high-functioning team, the better. And third, most of the time innovation is a good thing, and so any school that expects innovation and gives teachers the time and tools to do it and recognizes their effort for being innovative will do better usually. But that being said, I have seen some really ineffective charter schools based on some really ineffective ideas.
But they have to be better than what is out there, right?
What if you had a doctor that you were not thrilled about, and a new doctor opened around the corner? Would you automatically switch?
Depends.
Exactly my point.
So if making a great school is so easy, then why aren't all schools good?
I did not say creating good schools was easy. I just said that it was explainable.
I have to go. What do you think makes a good school in words that anyone can understand? And I am guessing that it has something to do with success psychology.
Okay, I will try. And yes, my friend, you are on the right track. So first, there are some big things that every good school exhibits. To start with, there is a vision, not just something written on the wall, but something that for the most part people in the school can buy into and guides their decisions. And a leader who can facilitate that vision sure helps. And that is right, good schools need to have at least an intuitive sense of what the difference between success psychology producing practices are and those that are producing failure psychology. So, for example, decisions are made using the question, if we do this, are we promoting more internal locus of control in the long term? Rather than the question, What will get us through the day-to-day? In all good schools there is a reason why the students are proud to be there. In good schools there is visible evidence that it is the students' school. And the school exists for the sake of the students, not just the teachers and staff. Also, there must be a guiding instructional and assessment principle that the process is important. Good schools get students to think about the process and become skilled at process and conceptual thinking. Those are a few of the big things. But there are thousands of little things too. Most of the reasons that schools fall short of being great is that they do all sorts of things that make themselves less healthy and functional.
Are you talking about schools or medical patients?
Actually, that is a good analogy.
It is. Thanks.
Yes. Most schools put a lot of time and energy into being healthy, but they also do a lot of things that are unhealthy and are unknowingly making them sicker. Good schools do more of the healthy things and less of the poisonous things. And at good schools they frequently ask themselves the question, if we do this, will it make us more healthy in the future or sicker? And speaking of internal locus of control, it makes a big difference when the faculty and administration at the school actually wants to be healthy and know the difference between what will get them there and what will keep them sick.
I'm enjoying this but have to go.
Thank you for your excellent questions.
Thank you. That is a lot to think about. I will look for this stuff next time I am in a school. So where can I get more information?
There is a lot of great information out there. But you might check out transformativeclassroom.com or the Alliance for the Study of School Climate website. Thank you and goodbye.